Mother, you should never let Penny go campaigning with you again. Now that I am back in town, let me pound the pavements with you instead. Penny should stay home and take care of herself.
Very well. And speaking of Penny, she's the real reason you dropped out of Harvard, wasn't she? She convinced you to flunk some of your courses so you and she could return to Texas, eh?
What? Did Penny tell you that?
No, Jessica did. She has never been one to keep secrets like that.
I suppose you must be disappointed in me then.
Well, I did advise you to wait until after you graduated from college to get married, and a degree from the University of North Texas isn't as prestigious as one from Harvard would be. But the fact is that you are an adult now and you have to take responsibility for both your marriage and your continued education as well as your future career. Even as your mother, I can accept your decisions as long as they are not criminal acts. By the way, Wayne Bentley has told me that he will be looking for a new science teacher after Simon Wilson retires, and he will also be replacing me as history teacher after this summer. If you want a career in this town, having one of those teaching positions seems ideal for you.
Then I will apply for the science teaching job right after I graduate.
Meanwhile, Officer Kelly Grimm has a report to make to Police Chief Theodore Root.
You won't believe what crazy things I have been finding on street corners and other public places today. Look at this.
What? Is this for real? Wanted, Sandy Smith, for the killing of Diana Calley, a wealthy widow from Tulsa, Oklahoma, who was visiting her town. Mrs. Smith's violent act makes her unfit to be mayor of the town again.
This is outrageous. You remember what actually happened, don't you? Mrs. Smith was fighting for her own life as well as the safety of another.
Of course. Indeed, the gun Diana Calley was shot with was her own, and she pulled it on Mrs. Smith first. I suppose it would have been better for Mrs. Smith's enemies if she had been killed instead.
What are we going to do? Those posters are everywhere. I counted 40 of them so far today in various places. I know we are supposed to have freedom of speech in our society, but this looks to me like libel.
I recommend you take this one straight to Mrs. Smith. She has a right to know about this insidious smear campaign.
Interesting. This must be Lee Lord's handiwork. He made a video on YouTube a couple of weeks ago making the same accusation. But what if we made this form of negative campaigning into a positive point for me? What do you mean? You were there, Officer Kelly. By bailing out a domestic abuser, burning down part of the forest outside the town and kidnapping a child, Diana Calley proved herself a serious threat to the town and its people. As mayor, I wasn't just the town's leader that night. I was also its protector. I didn't just leave the dirty work to you and the other cops of the town. I went personally to the scene and directly confronted the criminal and defeated her after she tried to kill me. And I freed the child she was holding captive and brought another criminal to justice. That's right. You were much braver and stronger than I ever expected. That's why I will be happy to see you as our mayor again. Then let's leave the wanted posters up. I can apply reverse psychology to assert that my killing Diana Calley that night is the very reason why I should be mayor again, because I don't back down when this town and its people are threatened.